they've pursued, especially their work achievements, but find that the excitement of their achievements is waning a little. So they choose something very different in pursuing a physical pursuit like the marathon. But the interesting thing about that is that the marathon for them is very similar to work. It's an activity towards which they have to put various routine sorts of activities. They have to prepare themselves solidly, and it requires a lot of commitment, like their work. A third type is a born-again type, who's very interesting because they're people who haven't had as much success as the repossessed type. And their prime concern is discipline. They feel as though they haven't really committed themselves to the various tasks that they've set themselves in life. And the marathon for them is something like a baptism of sweat. It's a very important turning point in their lives. A means of telling themselves and others that they can now commit themselves to tasks and succeed. It's a very important symbol of success for them and as a turning point in their lives. Another type is a possessed type. This is the more obsessed sort of runner who will try and attain, will attempt to attain, sometimes they succeed, the glory of running, but will become obsessed in this to the point where their relationships with others suffer. The other types, there's the type of the individual, which is very typical of women who run marathons. The marathon for there is something which makes them very special in other people's eyes. So more special than just the pursuit of motherhood or being a wife. It's a means of autonomy for these women. And the other types are types which are attracted to the marathon by the enthusiasm of the other participants. Basically, they're people who have friends in the marathon and people who are attracted by the sense of participation which running with a large group gives them. But I'd say the most typical would be the born-again type, the one who tries to use the marathon as a symbol for them of personal success and discipline and commitment.
No matter what your source of motivation, on the day of the event, it's plain hard work. And because of the nature of the work it's doing, the body needs cooling during a marathon. One of the mottos of the marathon gurus is, you need a drink before you think you do. They say that if you wait until your body tells you it needs fluid, then it's too late. The dehydration process is well underway. And it's here that one of the obvious signs of a well-organised run is clearly evident. In the Nike, there's a drink station every 5 kilometres with special drinks for athletes who take a particular formulation, water and Staminade, all laid out separately. Between every 2 drink stations is a sponge station, and Vaseline for chafing and Band-Aids for blisters or chafed spots are available at every station.
Just coming up, is it? Oh, right. So what, 7, 8, 56, what do we get on here? Pretty steady. Exactly, isn't it?
We've been running for nearly an hour and we've put down 11 kilometres. The rate which if sustained will give me a 3.5 hour marathon. I'm running slower than the pace at which I've done most of my training, unlike the competitive marathoners who race harder than they train. There's a great community spirit about the Nike Marathon. The community of Canberra supports the event enthusiastically, with many hundreds lining the course to provide encouragement. And among the participants, the feeling of communion is strengthened by the effect of the out and back course, with plenty of interchange between runners as they cross. But it's a warmish and humid autumn day in Canberra, and we're going to need all the moral support we can get.
It'll be a long day, I'll tell you.
Not so long though for the men out front, who will finish in less than half the time it will take some runners. And it's getting a little lonely with the pack down to 3. Hand and Neve of Canberra, and Frood on the right, the Canberra-based New Zealander. It's the year of the local.
1 hour 34:37.
Nairi Drake is on her sub-2:40 schedule into the second half, but it's starting to hurt a bit now. The organisational team for this event does a superb job with the calling of time splits and the laying of distance markers. Times are called at 1 mile as a guide to tempo, every 5k, halfway, and of course recorded at the finish. Each mile on the course is marked by a display board and each kilometre painted on the road. Maura Main, Scottish-born but now of New South Wales, is within 20 seconds of Queenslander Margaret Redan, who is second behind Drake. Main is flying to Scotland the day after the race, and a placing will really give her something to be up in the air over.
Feet to the runnery. Get into the healthy habit.
She didn't say.
Hanging in there.
At 27k, Colin Neve has made a break. Han was first to drop off, and now Frood has lost touch too. Neve won't be looking around, but if he does, the space he sees between himself and the rest will be a sight for sore eyes. But even for the slow jogger, there are such sights here in Canberra. Hand, in third place, is putting up a courageous effort. A hip injury was causing him concern at 15k, but he's battling on doggedly. A marathon is what you make it, not just on the day, but in terms of overall preparation. A first-timer should have done a number of long runs of up to 35 kilometres. That's just part of an overall preparation which should have covered at least 3 months, more if coming off a period of prolonged inactivity. Today, I'm asking for trouble. I ran the Big M Marathon in Melbourne 6 months ago in just over 3.5 hours, but my training has been patchy since, and I've done only 1 long run in my build-up. Top marathoners include a long run of around 30 kilometres as part of their weekly schedule. Some even do a slow run beyond the marathon distance in the last month before an event. For Colin Neve, the long runs, the speed work, the early mornings, the cold nights, the hour upon hour and kilometre upon kilometre are paying off today. Not only is he going to win, but he's going to run over 1.5 minutes faster than his previous best time. His career has been plagued with injury, but at this moment the sore spots are forgotten, and although tired, he feels strong. And what a feeling it must be to win a marathon.